Hi everyone, welcome to Book Club Favorites. We're live from Simon & Schuster. I'm Dana, this is Ariel and Milena, and we are all from Atria Books. And today we are talking about Watching You! So this is Watching You by Lisa Jewell. And for any of you who are tuning in who have not yet read the book, this will be as spoiler-free as possible. So don't worry. If you have read the book, we're going to point to you to tell us some of your favorite things, what you love, ask you some questions. You can ask us questions, but make sure that your comments are also spoiler-free. And that's really important because today we're talking about a thriller, which means there's lots of twists and turns, and we don't want to give anything away.
Don't ruin surprises for other people.
So before we get into it, we do have a giveaway along with our Facebook Live today. So ask a question for us on the panel in the comments below and be entered for a chance to win one of 5 prizes that include Watching You and some other treats that will be revealed at the end. So stay tuned, ask questions below, and I'm going to throw it over to Ariel to introduce us to Watching You.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Watching You is a story about a quintessentially British fictional neighborhood called Melville Heights. And the novel kicks off with a murder, and we don't know who's been murdered. But it's a great, fun novel because we switch back and forth between perspectives of police interviews and all these characters. And you might think, oh my gosh, there's so many characters, and I'm going to outline that for you a little bit below, in my description. So stick with me. So we move back and forth between character perspectives and police interviews. And we open with a young newlywed named Joey who has just moved into her brother's house in Melville Heights, and she's always wanted to live in these painted houses. And she suddenly starts having a crush on her new neighbor, Tom Fitzwilliams, despite the fact that she's like super duper in love with her new husband. So Tom is the head of the local, excuse us, we have a computer here that might ding occasionally. Don't even worry about it. Focus up here. Keep it up here. Okay, so anyway, Tom Fitzwilliams is the new hunky headmaster of the local school, and she has a crush on him. Okay, we learn more about that later. Meanwhile, Tom's son is Freddie, and he's a little strange, and he's spying on the whole neighborhood from his upstairs. He wants to be a spy, kind of like James Bond, like MI6. And then there's Jenna, who is a local schoolgirl who also interacts with Tom in a weird way, and everybody is kind of watching him, and then you come to realize that maybe other people are suspects as well. So the questions that we're trying to answer throughout the novel: why does everyone like Tom so much? Is he as innocent as he seems? Why is he like hot but also has like a super duper paunch?
I love the Ariel. Your most pressing question is like
why do people think he's so hot?
Why do they think he's so hot?
Why are people always so obsessed with the headmasters? It's a
Wait a second. My biggest question when reading the novel is who died?
So who died? Who killed that person?
Who's watching who?
Who's watching who?
But also, why is everybody
so obsessed with Tom?
And also, why is everyone watching each other? Guys, I gotta tell you also one thing is I'm tired. So all the moms out there, hit me up with a parenting question in the comments below. I got toddler stuff for you.
Speaking of comments below, I will be getting updates on my phone, so I'm not being rude. I'm just checking on what some people in the audience had to say. So we already have some questions. But
you guys are on top of it.
I forgot to say that Jenna's mom thinks that someone is stalking her, and she's also obsessed with Tom. So we have so many layers of Tomness and weird people. And there's a lot of characters, but once you nail them in, you're off to the races. The red herrings are coming at you. Everything is very exciting.
So one thing I think about the characters that's so interesting is that the reason that there's so many characters is because we're set up in this idyllic town that Ariel mentioned. And everyone has the semblance of like perfection. Their houses are all beautifully appointed. It's this like hilltop, aspirational community, but everyone has all these big secrets.
Yes.
And they're all watching each other. Like you mentioned Freddie, the son, who's like looking out the window, literally watching people
with like a telescope camera.
He has binoculars and like notes.
Taking pictures. He's writing the Melville papers, actually, is what we come to learn.
And so he's writing, he's like observing and writing, and he's kind of the only one who's doing it out in the open.
Yes.
And even he has some secrets that we certainly, again, no spoilers here, but he has secrets. Everyone in all of these families has secrets.
Yes.
But he's the only one who's like watching out in the open, which I think is really interesting.
Everyone else is kind of tiptoeing around, that they're like, oh, what's going on in that backyard? Or, you know, I've always been interested in who the people in the pink house are, or how did this guy get so rich? Or, you know, who is Tom's wife, this, you know, hot lady who does a lot of running and somehow that's all she does. Like, I think people are... She sets it up. I'm not like just making it up. She sets it up as she's like a slim, like exercise clothes wearing lady.
She's like the perfect wife.
She's a perfect wife.
Trophy wife.
Exactly.
But then
We're
there's
not
like people...
sponsored by that yoga company, but you know that yoga company.
Yeah, exactly.
But then there's like people who are like horrible at spying. They're like in between cars and bushes.
Hiding behind bushes.
Literally in the bushes.
Like crouching in
place.
bushes.
I don't even know. Okay, so yes, there's lots of people hiding secrets, but let's talk about the fact that there's lots of people, and that's what kind of makes this novel of misdirection so amazing, because you start to wonder, is Lisa Jewell leading me in this direction, or are my biases like coming into play here? Why am I suspicious of this person? Is it because it's a book trope? No, maybe, I don't know. There's just so much going on with the characters, but you still can follow along and are still breathless, like, who died?
But she's great at like misdirection.
Yes, so good.
Like you think things are happening, and then something kind of she throws something in to put you.
Oh yeah, you definitely think you're like onto her. You're like, I see what's happening, and then 20 pages later, you're like, oh my god, I was
so wrong.
Duped.
But also, let me just say, even if you think you know, or you figured it out, and then at the end of the book you're like, I knew all along, that doesn't matter. What pulls you into her books are the characters and the dynamics between like these family members, and we'll talk about that later, but don't.
Then also, I think people are lying when
yeah,
they're like, I totally knew that was going to happen. I was like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Well, Elizabeth has a question, which is, do you think we really know Tom or anyone in this novel?
Yeah, I mean...
Certainly not at the beginning.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be living one life. And, like, later we realize they are living a completely different life.
And also everyone's past comes into play, which is not unlike normal lives.
And some big things that happen in the past come into play. Yeah. Which maybe
what
also...
What are we allowed to talk about?
We can't. We can talk a little bit. I think that sort of leads us into the, like, family dynamics a little bit, because this is one of the things... we've all been working on Lisa Jewell for various amounts of times, but as we interact with readers... Ariel's been working
from
with
the
her
beginning.
for a really long time. But as we've been hearing from readers over the course of all her books, or 2 or 3 books, we hear that people really resonate with the families, the questions of what would you do if this was your family, the interplay between parents and children. So, I mean, that's definitely at play in this novel, even bigger than in some of the other novels, because we're inside so many of the families.
Right.
But it's also, what do you go through in order to make people think that your family is perfect?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Jenna, for instance, and I don't think this is spoilery. Ooh, her mom is obsessed with the idea that someone's stalking her and is on these online forums, and that is like fueling her I'm being stalked fire. But Jenna's just like, I'm a teenager, I just want to live my life and be cool and have friends and like go out. But then when she goes out, her mom is like, be careful, and you know, people have that. And then Tom and his wife and Freddie are all this, you know, column, but meanwhile Freddie is a young child spying on his whole neighborhood. And
like a teenager.
A teenager. Is he I don't even know how old he is.
Or maybe
he's like advanced.
He's
young. And then Joey, Josephine, our main character, she is relatively young, has just become married, and this is also a portrait of a young marriage too. Like, there was a lot of dynamics, and they're very interesting depending on what stage of life you might be in. Yada yada.
So, quick reminder, we have a giveaway going on for Watching You by Lisa Jewell, which we are talking about spoiler-free, and it's really hard because there's a lot of spoilers.
We're discovering it's very hard.
Dance around
Sorry.
the story.
If you would like to get engrossed in this twisty-turny thriller, ask a question below, and you'll be entered to win this book and also some other special things that we will reveal at the end of our live today.
I'd be interested in knowing who people think is their favorite character. So if you've read the book, maybe comment with who your favorite character is and why, so we can dissuade you or agree with you or just,
We'll let you guys answer first, and then we'll say who our favorite characters are.
That's a great
too.
idea.
So let's see. We have a question from Mary Claire, who I don't think is related to the magazine. Why do you think the author decided to show the other character's perspective besides the lead?
I think that's
a
to
good
cast doubt, right? It's like to see how other people see you and see. I mean, so much of our lives is we present because we are so worried about what other people are thinking. So it's very interesting to see what the other people are thinking, right?
Yeah, I think the whole point is just like you're kind of watching other people, so you want to kind of like get in that headspace of here's who I think she is, and who's who I think this person is.
We were talking about that.
Oh, go ahead.
The voyeurism.
Yeah.
Like everyone loves that now. Everyone loves to feel like other people's lives are worse, or or interested in why other people have it better, or that type of thing. Like we love murder podcasts now, and
well, I also wonder if there's. It's easy to think that nobody is paying attention to us.
Right.
But as we switch perspectives, it's clear that everybody is seeing things that you don't realize they're seeing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sort of the facade of this like beautiful neighborhood and all their perfect lives, their perfect suburban houses and meal on the table and the whole family around. It's all for show, even behind closed doors.
Right. Because everyone's treating each other like they think they should be treating other people. But if they were just real with each other, maybe some of these secrets wouldn't be so dark and twisted and
I think it's also not clear why certain people are watching versus other people. And some of the people who you think are the more sinister watchers are not.
Yeah. They're just chill.
How much do you want to read it?
Are we convincing you need to read this book?
We have some questions from the audience, so hold tight. Okay. Well, Sandra wants to know, do you have to put it down because of the intensity? No way!
That means you want to keep on going.
Just keep going.
It's like the Flintstones, like pedaling.
I just tried to do the wheels on the bus.
It will make you forget that you have things to do.
Yes.
Because you can't put it down.
It's propulsive.
So somebody asked us to hold up the book so they can see the cover.
This is a new cover. We had a different cover for the hardcover, and the paperback got more sinister. So there's a window here. You're kind of looking in someone's window behind the bushes we're talking about. Oh, and also on the cover it says tricky, clever, and unexpected, the New York Times Book Review. So if we are not convincing enough because some of us are very tired,
listen
to the New York Times.
Okay, Tammy says, has anyone else found themselves watching someone and feeling weird about it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see my neighbors dead across.
Well, we're in New York.
Yeah, in New York City.
So we're being
York.
watched constantly.
Yeah.
And we're also watching. I mean, people watching is actually an activity that is pretty fun. We go to the park and we watch people and dogs and eat ice cream cones.
Dog watching?
Well, I was just saying earlier, I live on the first floor now, so it's getting weird.
Can people see in your windows?
People can't see in my windows.
Do you have curtains that are black?
I do have curtains. But, I mean, we just moved in. I've been, like, for, like,
This is like you. This is like Carolyn Kepnes's you.
But I'm, like, I'm watching out, and then I see people kind of, like, watch in. You get naturally curious when you're walking by someone's open window.
It's just, how are other people living?
Like, ooh, their bookshelf looks great.
Yeah.
And, like,
yes.
all of a
she
sudden, suddenly,
you need to water your plant.
and then you see someone getting murdered in the bed. So
that's a different book.
Dun, dun, dun. But also, like, right here, we can see across the street into, like, 9 different buildings in Manhattan, in Midtown, so... Yeah.
Well, what about you guys? Do you find yourselves after reading Watching You or before thinking about what people think of you? Do you think about what people are thinking about? I mean, there's many layers of this.
Do you know anyone ever? Do you know yourself?
Do you close your shades?
How did
After
Lisa described the book as watching...
Watching you, watching me, watching you. Do you ever know
anyone?
Who's watching?
anyone? Do you ever really know anyone?
I mean, it's all about the layers of, like, when we're sitting in the park and we're watching some people walk by with their dogs, they're also watching us.
Yeah, true.
And do you
notice-
judge people? Like, do you automatically give them stories? Like, oh, he probably.
Are we
like,
just
is living
judgy?
This.
Yeah.
We're very judgy.
Or we just like, yeah.
We have another question from the audience. Oh, it's actually just a really nice comment. Helen says that we're doing a great job.
Helen!
Thank you, Helen.
Love you.
And that we're making her want to read the book now.
Oh, you should.
You should.
We'll
will
give you,
pick
like,
it up today,
Yeah.
and you will finish it tomorrow.
And then come back and re-listen to the beginning and see if we made any sense at all.
And then you'll just read more Lisa Jewell books.
Yeah, and then you'll
we're
read
here
more.
to serve.
Yes.
Actually, should we talk about our favorite Lisa Jewell books?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about our favorite characters first?
Yeah, favorite character.
Okay, let's talk about our favorite characters first.
I'm gonna go last.
Oh, I can't go first.
I think I have two favorite characters. I really like Alfie.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about Alfie. We haven't mentioned him at all.
Yeah.
Alfie is
The
Joey's
sweetest.
new husband. They met in like Ibiza. Right?
Ibiza.
They were like,
How do we do? Do we say it right?
Did we say it right? They were like on the beach having raves and like suddenly fell in love, and then they moved back to the UK together into Joey's brother, who's a surgeon's house, with his wife, who's pregnant.
I mean,
So-
imagine coming back from your honeymoon and moving in with like
Your brother.
Someone that
your
you don't
pregnant
know.
in-laws is so weird.
Yeah, yeah.
and they've
It's
only
like-
known each
and
other
he's,
for
like, so-
weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Before
they
they
got
got
married.
married.
Yeah. But he's like so down.
sweet.
He's like whatever
Love
you
you.
He's like
want.
the surfer guy.
Yeah.
Like, you just go with the flow.
Yeah.
And of course, she's like, "What's that hunky teacher doing next door?"
What's that hottie with a body doing across the way? He's married with a child, but I'm into
Yeah.
him.
But I really like him, and I think he's like a great foil to everybody else. He's like
Yes.
to everybody else in
And
their crazy secrets.
I agree. Who's your second favorite character?
And then my second favorite character is Freddie.
Yes.
Oh.
That probably be
Same.
my second, yeah.
Same. Yeah.
But
Because
did you like Freddie immediately or only as you read more of the book?
well, I was super interested by him and his character from the beginning because he's the one who's out in the open doing the watching, and he's
Yeah.
like, I mean, he is with his binoculars.
And you're like, why?
Looking into every window
Yeah.
down the street. But then as we learn what's really going on with him, he is like a fascinating
Yes.
character in so many other ways that
And
we can't
sweet.
talk about specifically
Yeah.
because no spoilers. But
Hashtag
yeah,
spoilers.
I mean, I think the way that his character grows and unfolds to the reader is really fascinating.
I agree. And I think Lisa wrote him like that and expected a turnaround. She said something to me at BEA about this a long time ago. She was like, "Tell me when you finish and I'll tell you a secret about Freddie." And then I forgot to ask her. Somebody remind me.
Melina, who's your favorite character?
This might be a unpopular opinion, but I really liked Jenna's mom.
Oh yeah, she's
Because she was almost like comically insane.
Yeah, yeah.
Where like she's like in between bushes, and you're like, "Woman, what are you doing?"
Yeah,
feels
I don't
very-
think it's a
You're
spoiler to say
really
she's
horrible
like a
at
bit
this.
of a catastrophizer and a little paranoid.
Yeah,
She was very paranoid.
Definitely paranoid.
But I mean, there's a reason.
Yeah.
And her instincts are
Correct.
almost right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we have more messages, but also I'm going to remind you quickly that we're talking about Watching You. This is Book Club Favorites, and if you would like to be entered for a chance to win a copy of Watching You, among other secret goodies.
Good goodies.
Good goodies.
Get into
Leave a question in the comments below. It can be about this book. It can be about Lisa Jewell's other books. It can be about
Thrillers.
Thrillers
in general. Totally. Let's see. So, apparently Freddie is a popular
Oh, good.
favorite
Yeah,
character.
yeah,
So
okay, good.
we're all on the same page.
Yes.
And now you will know that this isn't pandering because
Because it's real. It's verified. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So people like Freddie. Betty agrees. She liked his character transformation.
Yes,
Yes,
transformation.
Betty.
Yeah.
We agree with you.
Betty.
That's a word we did not use that we should have.
Transformation, yes.
Yes, good.
The word is transformation.
A few questions about how similar or different this is from Then She Was Gone. Oh, several of you would like to know. Do you want to take this away?
I think, we're talking about family dynamics. Those are both at play. I think Then She Was Gone is a little bit darker and might leave you a little bit more emotional at the end. But Watching You has a jaw dropper on the last page, and you're going to start rereading to find out what you missed or what just happened. So get to the last page, and you're just going to be like,
Speaking of the last page, do you want to take that segue to talk about Family Upstairs?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you're reading the paperback of Watching You, the last, few pages are an excerpt from The Family Upstairs, which is Lisa's novel coming out on November 5th in the United States. It's already out in the UK, and it's a #1 Sunday Times bestseller for 2 weeks in a row.
But if you're watching from the US, you can pre-order it
But
now.
US, pre-order now because it's so, so good. I've had so many people reaching out to me to be like, this is my favorite book of hers yet. And it's so good. It's so messed up. It's very twisty, fascinating characters, very interesting perspective shifting, and maybe a cult. Like,
Maybe.
What else do I need to say?
Could be.
Pre-order now. Smash that pre-order button.
Lots
Smash
of
it.
family dynamics at play in that book, too.
So many families, so many, it's so good.
And the cover is really pretty, too.
Sorry, let's just show that
Do
again.
you like the cover? Tell us yes.
Yeah, do you like this cover? Hit us up in the comments about so many things. And also this flower may or may not be very important. So that's a cool
Probably
thing.
it is,
Once you
though.
read the book, it might be really cool little ding.
Catherine has a question I don't know if we know the answer to, but do the painted houses really exist?
So I think
they do.
Yeah, I think they kind of
yeah.
exist, but Lisa wanted to make this a totally new town so that people weren't like nitpicking, so she could kind of fictionalize a little bit more.
It is, yeah. It's a fictionalized town based on
Like
the
Bristol?
Very true, or Chelsea? No, it's not Chelsea.
No, it's not Chelsea.
No, that one's Chelsea. Family Upstairs.
Family Upstairs.
Family Upstairs is based
Now
in
I'm
Chelsea.
starting to merge the two.
It's a real address in the Family Upstairs. 6 Shane Walk. 16? 6.
But the colorful houses is
No,
real.
6. There's a 6 fictional. But yes, the Watching You is
It is
fictional.
based on a actual place.
Yes.
So I think that question was from someone named Catherine. So
Catherine.
the answer is yes, but no.
Yes. But that's like, I think a lot of authors do that because they don't want to be held accountable for misrepresenting like the local bakery or, people really go wild about
Especially when you're
details.
saying that like a murder happened in a place and this sort
People
of
might start Googling and be like, who actually died? And you're like,
sort
no
of
one.
fancy-
Yeah, yeah.
in a fancy neighborhood.
Or like make money off of it and make a bus and
Yeah.
go to Lisa Jewell thriller
Yeah.
novel. But
Yeah.
which
Oh, that is a great business idea. we claimed it first. It was Melena's idea. You're out there.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
in the UK.
Side hustle.
That'd be great.
Side hustle.
That'd be great.
Okay, awesome.
Let's see. Oh, so I think we just sort of talked about our favorite Lisa Jewell books.
Oh, should I keep
kind
going?
of. Somebody asked how many books she's written.
Okay, this is maybe 6. She's written 16 novels, I want to say.
16 or
I think
I
16.
think he said 60. I was like, wow,
No.
she's really been busy.
No, 16. I think this is my 10th book. Family Upstairs will be my 10th book that I've worked on with her. She's written 16. We have maybe another one coming next year. And she wrote a few before. So if you aren't familiar with Lisa Jewell at all, she started writing in the women's fiction, what some would say chick lit category, and then she's kind of evolved and has always wanted to write in the thriller domestic suspense category, and she got a new editor who kind of let her spread her wings, and now she's like this total baller in the suspense category. So if you like Ruth Ware, you might really like Lisa Jewell. There's a lot of dark, sinister elements, kind of sometimes gothic vibes in her new book, The Family Upstairs. And I think if you like just reading, period, you'll find something that you love in Lisa Jewell's catalog.
Because you come for the thriller, come for the twists and turns, and stay for the characters.
Stay for the characters, yeah. The characters are just really realistic and deep.
So Sam wants to know if they're done with Watching You and waiting for Family Upstairs, what should they read next? And it's probably Then She Was Gone.
Yeah.
Then She Was Gone.
Girls in the Garden.
If you've already read that one, then
you go
Girls in the Garden.
What about I Found You? Oh my God. Wow. The hits don't stop.
Well, I think we've covered all of the questions from the audience, and it is time for us to introduce next month's pick. Which, if you've been following along, you know if you answer or ask a question, don't answer, but maybe you can answer, I don't know. Ask a question in the comments and you're entered to win a copy of Watching You. And we're also going to throw in a copy of Family Upstairs, an early copy before anyone else gets to read it.
That's right.
Lucky you. And next month's pick, which is...
Dun 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 dun!
Da, da, da.
Drum roll.
The Light Over London. Isn't
Historical
it pretty?
fiction.
I mean, look at this jacket, too.
Look at that, like, ombre.
That's so pretty. If that doesn't make you want to run out and get it, I don't know what will. So we'll be discussing that all month next month, and we'll have a Facebook Live along with that one as well. And in the meantime, thank you guys for tuning in to talk about Watching You.
Hold it up.
Yes! Keep reading along with us, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you for coming.
You.
Bye.
Bye.